Have you ever woken up in the morning, stretched your arms, and thought, why am I still so tired? I slept all night, but I feel like I could go right back to bed. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many people after 60 feel this constant wave of fatigue, not just once in a while, but day after day. You might even think, well, I guess that's just part of getting older. But here's the truth, it's not just age. Yes, our bodies change with time. But that bone-deep tiredness you feel isn't always about your number of birthdays. In fact, most of the time, it's your body's way of trying to tell you something it's been whispering for years, but you might not have noticed. You see, feeling constantly tired after 60 is often a mix of physical, emotional, and lifestyle factors that have quietly built up over time. The good news? Once you understand what's really behind it, you can start to take back your energy and feel more alive than you have in years. So today, let's talk about what's really going on and what you can start doing differently to wake up feeling refreshed, motivated, and full of life again. Let's start with something most people never think about: mental fatigue. You might say, but I'm retired now, I'm not working anymore. How could I be mentally tired? The truth is, your mind never stops working. Even when you're not at a job, you're still constantly thinking about family, bills, health, the world, or just how fast time seems to be passing. It's like your brain is running a quiet marathon every single day. And here's the tricky part: unlike physical exhaustion, mental fatigue doesn't go away with a nap. You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up feeling drained because your mind hasn't had real rest. When we were younger, stress came in short bursts. We'd rush to meet a deadline, deal with a problem, then move on. But after 60, stress often turns into a steady background noise, low, constant, and exhausting. You might not even realize how much it's affecting you. Have you noticed that some days you don't feel like doing anything, even the things you used to enjoy? That's not laziness. That's emotional fatigue. Decades of worrying, caring for others, handling responsibilities, they all take a quiet toll on your energy reserves. So what helps? The answer isn't just relax. True rest comes when you create moments of mental silence, times when your brain doesn't have to plan, fix, or worry. It can be as simple as sitting outside for 10 minutes, feeling the breeze, listening to the birds, and not thinking about anything else. I started doing this every morning. I sit by my window, breathe deeply, and just let my mind wander. At first, it felt strange. My thoughts would keep jumping around: what to cook, who to call, what to clean. But slowly, that noise began to quiet down. And that's when I noticed something: I wasn't as tired anymore. I felt lighter, clearer, more awake. Now, another big reason behind that constant tiredness is nutrient absorption. As we get older, our bodies don't absorb vitamins and minerals as efficiently as they used to. You might be eating the same foods you always have, but your body isn't getting the same benefit from them. Take vitamin B12, for example. It's essential for energy, nerve health, and mood. But many people over 60 have low levels without even realizing it, not because they're eating wrong, but because their stomach produces less acid, which makes it harder to absorb. That means your cells aren't getting the fuel they need to keep you energized. The same goes for vitamin D and magnesium. Both are key players in keeping your body running smoothly. When they're low, fatigue creeps in. You might feel weaker, your muscles may ache, and your sleep might not feel as refreshing. Now, I'm not saying you should run out and buy a bunch of supplements. The first step is awareness. A simple blood test can show what you might be missing. Then, with your doctor's advice, you can make small adjustments, maybe adding certain foods or light supplements. Even small changes like that can have a surprisingly big effect on your energy. Speaking of energy, let's talk about movement. I know, it sounds ironic: when you're tired, the last thing you want to do is move. But here's the funny thing: the less we move, the more tired we feel. It's like our bodies start to power down. I remember when I used to think, I'm just slowing down with age. But what was really happening was that my body was adjusting to less activity. Muscles weaken, circulation slows, oxygen levels drop, and before you know it, you're feeling sluggish all day long. But the magic happens when you move, even a little. A 15-minute walk, a few gentle stretches, or even some light gardening, they all get your blood flowing, your heart pumping, and your brain releasing those feel-good chemicals that instantly boost your energy. You don't need a gym, you don't need fancy gear, just movement. The key is consistency, not intensity. Every step, every stretch, every deep breath counts. And here's a little secret: when you start moving your body, your mind starts moving too. Suddenly, things that felt heavy begin to feel lighter. That fog that's been sitting over you starts to lift. You begin to smile more, even if nothing around you has changed. You see, the real reason you feel tired after 60 isn't just your body getting older, it's that your body and mind have been quietly asking for balance. Balance between rest and movement, between giving and receiving, between caring for others and caring for yourself. That's the turning point, when you start giving yourself permission to rest mentally, nourish your body, and move gently every day. That's when real energy starts to come back, not the quick, coffee kind of energy, but the deep, steady kind that makes you feel alive again. Now that we've uncovered how mental fatigue, nutrient absorption, and gentle movement all play a role, let's keep exploring, because there's more to this story, and understanding it could change how you feel every single day. If you're still watching and feel that these insights are meaningful, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. There's something else that most people overlook when it comes to fatigue after 60, and it might surprise you. It's not just about what you do, but also what you don't do. I'm talking about connection, emotional, social, and even spiritual. You see, as we get older, many of us start to spend more time alone. Sometimes it's by choice. After decades of noise, chaos, and responsibility, a little peace and quiet feels like heaven. But other times, it's not really a choice at all. Friends move away. Family members get busy. And before we know it, our world starts to shrink a little. And while solitude can be wonderful, too much of it can quietly drain your energy. Humans are wired for connection. Even the most independent among us need some form of emotional warmth, laughter, conversation, a simple "how are you?" from someone who truly cares. Without it, our minds can become dull, our moods can dip, and yes, our energy starts to fade. Think about the last time you spent a few hours talking with an old friend or laughing with your grandchildren. Didn't you feel lighter afterward? That's not just emotion, that's chemistry. When we connect with others, our brains release oxytocin and endorphins, hormones that literally make us feel more awake, more alive, and more optimistic. On the other hand, when days pass without that kind of interaction, the body reacts almost like it's under stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises, inflammation increases, and our energy plummets. The fatigue you feel on those quiet, lonely days isn't just in your head, it's in your cells. So what can you do? You don't need to throw yourself into a busy social life. Start small. Call a friend, join a local class, or even chat with a neighbor. You'd be amazed how much difference it makes just to talk about your day or listen to someone else's story. And remember, connection isn't limited to people. You can also find it in pets, nature, music, or faith. Many people I've spoken with say that tending to their garden, walking their dog, or sitting quietly in prayer gives them the same lift, a feeling that they belong, that life still has movement and meaning. That brings us to another hidden reason for fatigue after 60, something many people dismiss: unprocessed emotions. After a lifetime of experiences, it's normal to carry emotional weight, regrets, grief, guilt, or even resentment. You might think you've moved past certain things, but your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. Over time, holding onto those emotions can weigh you down more than you realize. Have you ever felt physically exhausted after a stressful conversation? Or found yourself unusually tired after thinking about something painful? That's not coincidence. Emotional tension has a direct impact on your energy levels. It tightens your muscles, disrupts your sleep, and keeps your mind spinning even when you're trying to rest. When I turned 60, I started noticing how certain thoughts would instantly drain me. I could be feeling fine, then suddenly, I'd remember something that upset me years ago, and my whole body would feel heavy. That's when I realized, sometimes, the most tiring thing in life isn't what we do, it's what we keep carrying inside. Letting go isn't about forgetting or pretending everything is fine. It's about giving yourself permission to stop reliving old pain. One of the most powerful things you can do is to talk about what's been weighing on you, not to get advice, but simply to release it. That might mean writing it down, sharing it with a friend, or even just saying it out loud in an empty room. Once you start to release those old emotions, your body relaxes. Your sleep improves. Your mind clears. And slowly, you begin to notice that you don't feel as tired anymore. It's as if a heavy coat you didn't know you were wearing finally slips off your shoulders. Speaking of sleep, let's talk about that, because it's one of the most misunderstood parts of fatigue after 60. Many people assume that if they're getting enough hours of sleep, they should feel fine. But the truth is, not all sleep is created equal. As we age, our sleep patterns change. We tend to spend less time in deep, restorative sleep, the kind that truly recharges the body. You might fall asleep easily but wake up several times a night, or wake up early and not be able to fall back asleep. Sometimes, it's due to pain, medication, or even something as simple as dehydration. But other times, it's because our nighttime habits are quietly interfering with our natural rhythm. Here's an example. Many people watch TV or use their phones right before bed. Those screens emit blue light that tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime, so your body delays releasing melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall asleep deeply. Even a short exposure can affect your rest more than you realize. Creating a bedtime routine that calms your mind and signals your body that it's time to rest can make a world of difference. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe a warm cup of tea, soft music, and 10 minutes of quiet reflection before turning out the lights. That small habit can lead to deeper, more refreshing sleep, the kind that makes you wake up actually feeling rested. And let's not forget how much purpose affects your energy. After 60, many people retire or slow down. The routine that once filled their days suddenly disappears. At first, it feels liberating, no deadlines, no alarm clocks. But after a while, that freedom can start to feel a little empty. Without something to look forward to, it's easy to lose momentum, and that loss of purpose can manifest as tiredness. Purpose doesn't have to mean a grand mission. It can be simple, something that gives your days structure and meaning. Maybe it's caring for your garden, mentoring younger people, volunteering, or even setting a small personal goal. When you have something to wake up for, something that matters to you, it lights a spark inside that no vitamin or nap can replace. When your heart feels engaged, your body follows. You stand taller, you breathe deeper, and you find energy in places you didn't know existed. It's not about doing more, it's about living with intention. When you reconnect with others, release emotional weight, rest deeply, and wake up with purpose, you're not just surviving each day, you're thriving in it. You begin to realize that fatigue doesn't have to define your 60s, 70s, or beyond. You can rewrite what energy feels like on your own terms. And the best part? Once you start aligning your habits, emotions, and mindset, that deep exhaustion begins to lift, not overnight, but gradually, like the morning sun after a long, dark night. Now that we've uncovered how connection, emotional release, sleep, and purpose all play into your energy, there's still one more piece to the puzzle, one that ties everything together in the most unexpected way. You know, when I started paying attention to all the little things that affected my energy, the food I ate, how I slept, how connected I felt, and even what thoughts I carried with me, something beautiful began to happen. I realized that feeling tired wasn't just about getting older. It was about how I was living. And there's one final piece to this whole picture, one that many people never consider, how we talk to ourselves. It might sound simple, But our inner voice, the things we say to ourselves, often without even noticing, has a powerful effect on how we feel every single day. When you wake up and the first thing you think is, "I'm so old," or "I just don't have the energy anymore," your body listens. Your mind and body are in constant conversation, and the messages you repeat become your reality. For years, I used to wake up feeling tired before I even got out of bed. My knees ached, my back complained, and I'd sigh, "Well, I guess this is just what getting older feels like." And sure enough, I'd move through the day with that exact energy, slow, heavy, drained. But one morning, I caught myself. I thought, wait a second, why am I deciding I'm tired before the day even starts? So I tried something different. Instead of saying, "I'm exhausted," I said, "I'm grateful to have another day." It didn't make my body younger overnight, but it shifted my mindset. It reminded me that energy isn't just physical, it's emotional and mental too. You might not realize it, but every thought you repeat sends a message to your body. Negative self-talk, things like "I'm useless now," or "I'm slowing down," drains you just as much as a poor night's sleep or a bad diet. On the other hand, kind and empowering thoughts can give you real, measurable energy. Try telling yourself, "I'm still learning," or "I can take this one step at a time." You'll notice how your shoulders relax, how your breath deepens, and how your body responds with a quiet strength. That shift, from self-criticism to self-compassion, is one of the most powerful energy boosters there is. Because when you stop fighting yourself, your body finally has a chance to rest and restore. And speaking of restoration, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier, the idea of balance. When you're younger, you can get away with all kinds of habits, skipping meals, staying up late, pushing your limits. But after 60, your body becomes more sensitive to imbalance, physical, emotional, and even environmental. Sometimes, fatigue is your body's way of whispering, "Please slow down." Not in a way that means give up, but in a way that says, "Listen." The body has its own wisdom. The problem is, most of us have spent decades ignoring it. If you feel tired, instead of getting frustrated, try getting curious. Ask yourself, what might my body be trying to tell me? Do I need more water? More movement? More peace? When you approach fatigue with kindness instead of blame, it changes everything. You start to see your body not as an enemy, but as a lifelong companion that's just asking for a little more care. And that care doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about chasing youth, it's about honoring your energy. Maybe that means taking a gentle walk in the morning sun, or allowing yourself an afternoon nap without guilt. Maybe it's saying no to something that drains you, or yes to something that makes your heart feel alive. There's a quiet kind of wisdom that comes with age, the wisdom to know that rest isn't laziness, it's maintenance. That laughter is medicine. And that peace, real, deep peace, gives you more strength than any energy drink or supplement ever could. One of my favorite moments these days happens every evening, just before sunset. I sit by the window with a cup of tea, watch the light soften, and feel a gentle wave of gratitude wash over me. It's not a grand gesture, but it reminds me that energy isn't about rushing, it's about presence. When you're fully present, even a slow day can feel vibrant. And I'll tell you something, the older I get, the more I realize that energy is less about what you do and more about how you feel doing it. When you approach your days with curiosity, gratitude, and a bit of humor, you naturally move through life with more ease. Yes, our bodies change with age. But that doesn't mean we have to accept constant fatigue as our new normal. You have more control than you think. By nourishing your body, tending to your emotions, surrounding yourself with connection, and speaking kindly to yourself, you create a new rhythm, one that honors where you are, not where you used to be. And maybe that's the biggest secret of all, you don't have to chase your old energy. You can create new energy, energy that's steadier, softer, but every bit as powerful. So if you've been feeling tired lately, take heart. You're not broken. You're simply being invited to live more intentionally, to slow down enough to notice what truly fuels you. Because real energy, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from caffeine or forcing yourself to push harder. It comes from alignment, when your body, mind, and heart are finally on the same page. You can start today with one small step. Maybe it's choosing a nourishing breakfast. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you miss. Or maybe it's just whispering to yourself, "I'm doing okay." Those little moments of care add up, and before you know it, the heaviness starts to lift. So here's to you, to your strength, your resilience, and your beautiful journey. You've made it this far, and you deserve to feel good in your body, no matter your age. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one change you've made that's helped you feel more energized? Your story might inspire someone else who needs to hear it. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more honest, uplifting conversations about living fully at every stage of life. Remember, energy isn't something you lose with age, it's something you learn to nurture. Here's to living your best, most vibrant life, one peaceful day at a time.